Okay. Ooh.
Hello.
Hey, what
Oh,
about
hello. Welcome to Nobody Asked, the show that nobody asked for, backed by popular demand. And uh, this is the show. Hello. This morning, uh, my mom, who's that person? Oh, who's that person? Uh, texted me and was like, "I don't know what to talk about today." And I was like, "Let me just take control of it." And then I worked the whole day, and I'm still at the office right now. Look at my
beautiful?
office. Oh, it's got a door. It's got a window.
Ooh,
Ooh, this is
cactuses
actually
and
the conference room.
succulents.
Cactuses and succulents. Um, so we've gone straight from work to into this, but guess what? I am ready. I am. I'm definitely not going to crash in the next 20 minutes. There's no shot that that train's coming. Um,
Uh-oh.
and I am I am I am ready to go. The coffee shop that is in the window right here, uh, they just closed, so that's good. We won't be hearing their noise. And yeah, my name's Colin.
I'm
Uh,
Maria.
nice. So here's the concept of today's show. Um, I was talking with friends, one of those like late night conversations that just never ends. And what we were trying to come up with is um, we were talking about purity testing on the left. Sorry if I shake a lot. My computer is on top of my backpack
Oh.
uh, because if it's on the table, then I'll look like sort of a weird Wilhelm shot. Um, but
Ooh.
ooh, uh, but yeah, we're talking about purity testing and the feeling that answering certain questions, especially in like a 20-year-old ultra liberal New York City neighborhood, when you get asked certain questions, it feels like you have to answer the right thing. And you can't answer with nuance. You've just got to sort of toe the line on it because people are testing if you're in the group of like of the far left. And the the group that I'm in, there's certainly some far left people, but everyone is more interested in thinking about things in more nuanced ways. And so we were talking about what if you did really like solid, not purity testing, but if you had five open ended questions that you could ask somebody in order to figure out where they are on the political spectrum, the 2D or
Okay.
3D political spectrum, what would those questions be? And so they want, you want to be questions that really like cause people to expand so you can sort of dig into their mental attitudes and things. We've only got three so far, but I think they're pretty good. Um, and so I'm interested in where to start. The first one I think might be too open ended, but then I think that the second two will have you start thinking about certain areas of politics,
Okay.
and then they'll influence the first one. So I'm just going to go with the first one, and
Okay.
we'll see where it takes us. But the idea here is we're going to test these three out on my mom, and I'll probably answer them too and just see what conversations come out of it because we started talking about this and it was like we couldn't even focus on the prompt of coming up with the five questions because we were talking about each one for hours and I was so
Oh.
tired by the end of the night. um, but it was a great conversation. We were literally just talking in the living room for 5 hours straight, and it didn't seem like anyone wanted to leave. It was great. The first question is, um, if you had one all powerful American executive order, genie rules, you can't ask for more executive orders. Um, but if you have one all powerful executive order, what would you do with that? So it can't be challenged by the courts. There's
Right.
no congressional directive. It is just you have changed American politics like that. What would where does your mind go? What would you do with that?
Well, okay, so weirdly, that was what I was thinking about today was about presidential orders and what their limits are and stuff today. Um, so yeah, what you're saying where it can't be challenged in court because they can be challenged in court, right? So they have to be constitutional already, technically,
Mm-hmm.
to be a legitimate order, and
But not this one.
but not
You can
this one.
change the
Okay,
whole Constitution.
right. And interestingly enough, I know I'm going on a side tangent, but like the Emancipation Proclamation was an executive order. So,
Hmm.
and what a great example of one that is just big and meaningful. You know,
Yep.
to just freeing slaves. What would I like? I don't even know how to correctly word an executive order, but man, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah, I
if
mean,
it's
you don't
just
need to
one.
word it.
You're just
You
getting
know,
one.
just one. Yeah, just one. But like mine, just to spoil the reveal, mine had a lot to do with voting, and it did have multiple prongs to
Okay. Okay.
voting and the way that the government runs.
So I think for me, it would have to do with the people, like um, perhaps defining what a person is might be part of it, um, but also that the government's job is to support its people. So a company is not a person.
Yep.
um, and somebody who is not alive is no longer a person. Somebody, I guess the question is, are you a person before you're born? But either way, there might be some gray area there. But for me, it is that the government functions to support its people
Hmm.
exclusively. That's its job. So
Yep.
we can define what different ways the support can be, but ultimately it has to be for the people. Like it just seems so obvious. I don't know, to me that we are. Ooh, Be Real just went off.
Let's be real.
Let's be real. Sorry. We're going to be real quick if I can get my phone up. Do, 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 do. Be real. Perfect.
Podcasting
Yep.
with my mom.
Podcasting with. Oh, it just disappeared. My prompt. Where'd it go? Oh, there it goes.
Ooh, look,
With.
Dad's outside with the solar panels.
He sure is. With
What a
the
win.
shades on. Beautiful. Okay, sorry, distracted by that. uh yeah, and I mean I don't even know if that's big enough to be an executive order, but it feels like such a fundamental principle to me that seems to be lost that I find it very
Hmm.
frustrating. And I guess right now a lot of the talk in the world is the difference between does our constitution protect every person, every all people, or do they have to be American citizens? And it depends, right? So I
Hmm.
guess maybe that would also be part of it too. Do, it's to help the people, the people, the people, the people. We're not a business.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that there are certain rights that you get when you enter the country, type thing, right? Everyone that
Hmm.
enters the country has a constitutionally protected right to free speech, even if they're not a citizen. Yeah, what do you think? Like, what would be the impacts that you're looking to drive? What would you be looking to change with that? Is that going to handcuff the executive in some way, where certain actions are
Hmm.
not permissible because they're considered to be not in the best interest of the people, something like that?
Okay. So that's a fair question because it might actually help me to coalesce what I'm really trying to say because I do think that there's a lot of self-serving things happening, right? People become representatives and they stop representing their people. They start representing their own
Hmm.
personal interest, but they're also a person. So it gets tricky,
Yep.
right? But if you're serving, let's say APAC, what's that bullshit? you know? uh you can make the argument that you're supporting those people. They're still people, but again, I guess it does matter, perhaps, how we define people and citizens and organizations and all of this stuff. But yeah, I have a problem in general with every single person who is an elected official, who is serving themselves, right? I think when you
Hmm.
become a public servant, you set yourself aside a little bit because you're deciding I'm going to represent a larger group of people, something bigger than myself. And so many people I feel like just they've lost it, right? They're power hungry people that are out for themselves in one way or another. And I find that bothersome. I find that
Mhm.
beyond bothersome. I mean, I think that that's just such a founding thing in America. You know, we talk about democracy, or if you hate the word democracy because it sounds like Democrat, we talk about the republic, and that sounds like representative or public representative. They've got the same root, and you know, it's the idea that you are not just yourself. You're something bigger than yourself. You're representing a bigger group of people, and that's what I hate. I hate that people have lost the idea of service while being in service positions.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I don't know exactly how to word this executive order, but that's where I, I would focus somehow. I just
Yeah. I mean, you know, it is a hard question to answer just on the spot, on the fly.
yeah.
Um, and it's so yeah, I'm just trying to dig into like like what would it change?
What
And
would
yeah,
it change?
how would you define it, right? Because I do think that APAC represents a group of individuals, um, but I don't. And like, what is APAC pushing for?
Let's look it up. I'm just gonna look it up because I mean it's got a specific meaning. APAC. It's the American, so it's got the word American in it. Israel Public Affairs Committee is a prominent
It's
pro-Israel.
AI pack. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, is a prominent pro-Israel lobbying group in the United States. It works to strengthen the relationship between the U.S. and Israel through several key activities. So it's trying to stay
Mhm.
strengthen the relationship between us and another country. I don't care. I mean, I'm not
I
saying
don't
that's not
know how that
important, but
doesn't. Yeah, yeah, but how would your executive order have any effect on that?
no, that's a fair point. I don't know, right? Because I hate interest groups. I hate lobbying. Maybe I just get rid of
Mhm.
lobbying.
Yeah, yeah, that was definitely one that came up in the conversation.
um, you know, like I get the idea or a need for lobbying because no person can possibly um, know everything or every situation that's out there that might affect their constituents. It's impossible. So I can see where the idea of lobbying is good, but also it isn't. It's not good in the way that it happens. You know, we've got just shills that are there to, you know, give people money to do what they want. I hate it. I hate money in politics. Um, Maybe that's also important too. The separating the money from the power.
Mhm.
Yeah, money is power inherently, but I need them to be separate. But yeah, I think. Listen, again, I don't know how to frame a presidential, an executive order, but when I think of what the role of the government is, it is not like a business. It is like a family, right? Um,
Yep.
the executive is the leader of the family. That's who the president is. And he is responsible in a family. You're responsible for your family, for the people underneath you. So sometimes you got grandma living with you and she's got her needs that are different than what your baby boy needs, right? We've all got different needs and different things that we can give to the family, right? Little Timmy can take out the garbage, but you know, you can't ask him to babysit all of his siblings. He's no good at it. So, you know, so I think sometimes we get so caught up on, you know, being useful. And not every member of your family is useful. They're just not. But you still have a responsibility to them. So I think for me, if you think of the government as like the head of a family and that there is responsibility. Maybe that's where I feel lost a lot is the lack of responsibility. And I feel like there's this idea that the people themselves are responsible to the government, but the government's not responsible in a reciprocal way. And I'm bothered by that. Um, but yeah, how do we get an executive order to say, be good, do your job?
Yep.
And it's just one order. It's just one. Uh, I don't know. What's the next question?
Do you want to hear mine?
Yeah.
Okay. I have the American Voting and Representation Proclamation. Uh,
Ooh.
and so this is a multi-pronged overhaul of the way that we run the federal government, districting, um, congressional representation, and voting. So 6 key elements to the proclamation. The first is that ranked choice voting becomes the law of the land. So in all elections, federal elections, you are not voting for a single candidate. You're voting for your first candidate, your second candidate, your third, your fourth, and your fifth. And then if whoever is in first gets knocked out, then your vote moves down to your second. That uh, yeah, okay. So that's the first element. Second element, no private dollars in campaigning of any kind.
Okay.
All federal campaigning is publicly funded. We're following the Canada model on this. There's equal funding for all sides. There's some sort of threshold for being a publicly funded candidate. Um, and private dollars are disallowed and disqualifying from an election.
Is there
Uh,
just a quick question? Is there a government fund that also gives you a certain amount of money for your campaign, or is it strictly raising money privately?
no, 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 no. There's no raising money privately. It
Oh,
is
none.
only public funding, as in government funding.
Oh! I got you
Um,
now. Okay,
that there's absolutely no donating. There's
so we all
absolutely
have the same
no.
amount to deal with
Yes, yes. You
theoretically.
reach a threshold of signatures, and perhaps like being a party candidate, et cetera. Then you receive public funding, government funding for that. Um, for state and Senate, well, I guess specifically for congressional representatives, House of Representatives,
Okay.
we have population-based representation. So we're completely eliminating gerrymandering, and we're allowing people to vote for third parties again. How? Because when California votes, it gets its 55, I think, representatives. And so, in order to equal one representative, you would vote for a party or ideology that is on the ballot. And if you reach 2% of the total population of California, then you get one representative. There's no way to, and I'm saying this for every state, so there's absolutely no way to gerrymander that system. And so the process goes like this. There's an election in which people vote for a party. So Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Green Party, all of these parties, but people will actually vote for third, fourth, fifth parties because of how low the threshold is for getting a representative. Um,
Oh, so you're not voting by state necessarily, or are you?
you are, at least right now, for the House of Representatives, um, we are voting by state,
Okay.
um, but you have 55 representatives, and if 60% of the vote is Democrat in California, then 30, I think, less than 30, 28 of those representatives will be, no, it would be 30. I don't know. 30 representatives will be Democrats. And then the next down, Republicans, they get 25% of the vote. And so they get 14 representatives of the 55. Next down, Libertarians, they get 4% of the vote. They get 2 representatives. And it's
Okay.
all based on the total population. And then the local representative is a post election element where you look at the vote density of certain parties, and you know that you have to fit this many representatives in, and you redistrict based upon vote density post election. And that's how you find out who your local representative is. You don't you don't vote just for your one representative and it's first past the post in your region, and your region might include something 300 miles away. um, your local representative is determined post election. uh, I'm
Okay.
taking a long time on this, but that's the third element. Then the last area. Oh, sorry, I didn't hit this. Changing Senate population. So we're increasing the size of the Senate
Ooh,
um,
okay.
in order to be closer to population representative. So
Really?
minimum number of senators, one for a state, and maximum number, I'm saying 10 right now, and it's still population distributed. Um,
That's crazy.
why?
Well, I mean, the whole point of the Senate, right, is to take states that have um, lower populations and make their voice sort of equally weighted to a state
Yeah, yeah,
level.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, I'm with you. That's dumb. That's dumb and that's stupid. Um, and so I don't give a fuck. That's just ridiculous.
So you just
Um,
object to the notion of the Senate to begin with.
I object to that notion of the Senate. Um, okay. Presidential election is entirely ranked choice popular vote. There's no electoral college. That one's obvious. Um, then the final section is for the actions of all representatives of the federal government, including but not limited to federal judges, congressmen, and the president. Uh, no stocks, no bribes, and no sedition. That's the straight up that you are disqualified if you are
Okay.
found to be participating in any of those
No tips.
activities. No tips. Um, this is the sacrifice of running for
Yeah.
Congress or president or whatever. Sorry, buddy, you have got to divert all of your many riches, I assume, into index funds. You can profit off the American economy doing great because I want you to want the American economy to do great. But you can't profit off of individual businesses doing great and popping in and out of the market, etc. Put it all in an index fund. You leave it there till you leave. Um,
I'm
and
here for that.
then term limits.
Definitely.
Boom. That's it.
That was one executive order that did have a lot of parts. So maybe that's where I
It's all
struggled.
related. It's
Yeah.
all related. But yeah, I mean, that's the result of having thought about this for more than a week. That you've
Right.
gotten this sprung on you. So
No, no, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, sprung on
okay,
me trying to even see what's a cohesive thought that I think what's important. Yeah. No. Sure.
yeah, okay. The next question is a
No, this
little
is
bit.
hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm late. Is this current situation? No, it's not. We're just talking about how would you explain what we're talking about, Colin?
We're going through three questions, which my friends and I think you can ask someone in order to appropriately place them on the political spectrum. And we're just going through those and keeping it open ended and figuring out like how do we feel about these questions?
Right.
What are our impulse thoughts? So yeah, the first one was what do you do with a all powerful executive order? Um, the second one is like the wording is not as clean and as figured out, but you'll see this one's less about what you would do and more about what you would think.
Okay.
Um, uh, uh, Incarceration, crime, and punishment. What
Okay.
is, in your perfect society, what is the purpose of an incarceration? What is the um, what is the threshold for time incarcerated, and what is the mix between acquiring justice for society and victims versus rehabilitation that you picture in your perfect society?
Hmm. I do have a hard time with this one because listen, some studies will tell you that you can't reform people. I think others will tell you the opposite. Um, I have just a problem with our entire methods of incarceration and the fact that we've done a lot of privatizing of, um, I don't know, prisoners and
Mhm.
prisons, and the idea that also slavery is fine as long as you're in prison. So, you know, I, so yeah, it's hard. Like, how much is punishment? What's rehab? What things can't be rehabbed? Um, Man, that is a hard one. I do think I guess we need to separate, in my mind, we need to separate crimes against property from crimes against people. And I think
I
that we
like
often
it.
do that. I feel like the system often does that the wrong way. Um, Sometimes you get much worse sentences for, property crimes than you do for hurting somebody, and that's the wrong way. Um, so I think I would deal with that first, because I do feel like crimes against property, I don't half the time you probably shouldn't be in jail at all.
Hmm.
Sometimes, but most of the time it's restitution. It's like make it right. Let's go on with our day. Um, Unless you're a repeat offender and you need something stronger,
Yeah.
a deterrent so that you stop doing this thing that we've deemed bad. But
Oh yeah, I missed that. I missed that because we originally wrote it down as punishment and justice versus reform, uh, and then
deterrence.
we also incurred deterrence. What is the importance of deterrence? Uh, and that this question ends up being very illuminating in terms of where people land on social issues. Um,
Yeah.
and I think I ended up being like the most Republican one of our friends I've been in this issue,
Yeah. So
which you
so
might
I'm
expect.
not here's where I fall. I just got to take them bit by bit, right? So when it comes to like let's things like the death penalty, I don't think the death penalty is a deterrent at all. But that doesn't mean that I
Mhm.
don't think that we should have the death penalty. I do think we should. I just don't think that the death penalty should be on the table most of the time for a single crime. Murder is bad, absolutely, but I do think you can reform a person who has murdered one person. I think it's a lot harder, possibly impossible, to reform somebody who has murdered 10 people in separate incidents, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I feel like that person's basically asking you to take them off the planet. So there's
Mhm.
that part. Also, crimes against children. It feels unforgivable, you
Yeah.
know? Um, so there's that. Sex crimes. I don't know that they shouldn't all be painted with the same brush, but some of them, I'm like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, do you just think that this is okay, what you're doing? There's a point where you have to say, you clearly either think what you're doing is fine, or you think what you want is more important than
Mhm.
the other person. And so, I mean, are you even a person at that point? Are you a person if you can't, if you have zero ability to see somebody else as a person? uh, so yeah, so I do believe in the death penalty. I just think sometimes we're heavy-handed with it. It needs to be really limited to the worst of the worst, the unreformable. Because I guess I do believe that there is some level of reform. I think you should always attempt reform. Maybe that's what I believe. You should always attempt reform, but not. I don't know that you should assume that it's going to be successful, but you should always attempt it. I think it's important to find out why people do the things that they do. You know, uh, did you? It's like very Les Miserables, right? Like, did you steal this bread because you're hungry? You know what I mean? Why did you commit this crime? It's very different than just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think the whys always matter. Okay, so what are the questions again? Reform. I've lost this. Deterrent. I don't think deterrents are real for most people.
Yeah. I think that okay, so that's probably somewhere that we disagree. And I think that I so one of the things that I found myself saying in this group is that I think that people on the left tend to underestimate deterrence. Um,
You think so?
and yes. Uh, yeah, I do. I, I do think that people on the left underestimate deterrence. And I think that there's often a very arithmetic um, element um, to punishment. So I think the easiest place to start is property crime because we tend to not get as emotional about somebody stealing, you know, a Coke from the bodega, right? Um, and or hopping the turnstile or whatever, right? These crimes that are de minimis, but grow, and you generally want society to operate with a certain understanding. And so I do
Okay.
think that there's a relatively simple arithmetic to punishing of property crimes, especially ones that do not have a human harassment or threatening element, because there's something different about, yeah, shoplifting from like holding somebody up for their wallet. These are different things.
Right. Parking
Um,
parking in a handicap spot as opposed to, yeah, knocking an old lady
yes,
over.
and so the picture this is more of a hypothetical thought problem. Picture a world where you catch someone. If somebody steals in your society, they are caught 100% of the time. It
Okay.
is impossible to steal. I agree with restitution completely. And I think it would be a deterrent because there is absolutely no reward for stealing other than losing 2 hours of your time. You know, like having to go to the judge and having to figure out restitution, all that. It's just a pain in the ass. So you have that pain in the ass element every time you steal, and then you have to pay 250 back uh, to the bodega or whatever. I think that that would be a fantastic deterrent. If literally everyone knew that they can't get away with stealing, that's a great deterrent. However, that's
Impossible.
it's absolutely impossible. And so you need a way, and it's a lot harder with large numbers, uh, to make crime not pay, you know, and make it seem a little bit more like a very bad gamble, right? People like to play roulette and blackjack because it's like a 3% house edge, right? Or a 4% house edge. And you're like, "Ah, I can beat 4%. Yeah, maybe I'll do it. Man." But if you heard a game has a 70% house edge, you'd be like, that's stupid. Every time I put $1 in, I get 30 cents out. This is no fun. So uh, I I think that you need to create a reasonable understanding of how often you catch someone when they do X, and then have some sort of exponential scale in which if you're only catching somebody when they shoplift 1% of the time, then the restitution needs to be at least $250 for stealing something that's 250. And it really probably should be more because then it's just gambling, you know. Then it's, can you just get really good at stealing and decrease that percentage, right? Same thing with hopping the turnstile. The ticket for hopping the turnstile is like $65. Uh, I have certainly made more money than that hopping the turnstile. So I stopped doing it. I stopped doing it as soon as my income crossed the New York City median. Okay. That's how I justify it. I don't know if that makes any sense. Um, but as soon as I was making more money than the median New Yorker, I was like, well, then I should be paying for the MTA. Like, this is my taxes should be paying for this MTA. And because the system is ridiculous, I will also pay for the Trump. Um, but that's neither here nor there.
How do you feel about caning? Should we bring back caning? Just whacking people with sticks?
Yeah, it depends. Depends on the crime. Yeah, yeah. Um,
The
I
big old
mean, okay.
slap.
So we also brought up murder and sex crimes, and these are interesting cases too. And I think that you've gotten to some sort of weird ground truth, which is that it is definitely, as an individual, worse to be murdered than to be raped. There's some disagreement on that, but in general, most people want to keep living. You know, it's very bad, but but not living is worse for most people. Um, so that's weird because rape seems way worse than murder to me. Like so much worse. Random murder, you can sort of convince me on, right? The Sandy Hook shooter killing those kids, yeah, yeah. Nope, that's worse. But uh, in most cases, the thing that's weird about murder is that you can create a narrative of that guy killed my brother, and now I'm going to kill him. And I go, that's barely bad, right? I get it. You shouldn't do it, but I get it. And so, but you cannot create that for rape in any situation for me. You can't create that situation where it makes sense. It's just, it's just
No,
confusing.
I feel you. I mean, there's the violation is huge, right? Um,
Yeah.
I think the
And it's for such an absurd reason, you know? It's so just masturbate, dude. I mean, give me a fucking break. Just get some game. I don't know what you're like. Just, what is going on? Go to Las Vegas, pay for a prostitute. I, it's so absurd. Now, of course, the real reason that people commit rape is not always sexual gratification, and that's where I think caning comes in. Come on, we're getting all the way around to caning. Um, at least from what I've read and talked to therapists about and like tried to get an understanding about, is that uh, often sexual assault has to do with a feeling of powerlessness and humiliation
yeah,
and the desire to take power from someone else. It's sort of like the person that's bullied at home comes to school and bullies, that sort of like downstream of negativity. Uh, and I tell you what, caning seems pretty humiliating and seems like you feel pretty powerless in it. But the issue with sex crimes right now is that you catch such an absurdly low percentage of it that deterrence is almost a non-factor. That the main factor that keeps people from raping is that most people are good people.
yeah. No,
Most
I
people,
hear I hear what
most
you're
men,
saying,
but
and I think part of the reason why I struggle with putting it in the same category as murder is for the very reason that most of it's not going reporting, right? Because so many people take it on themselves as I've done something wrong. This was
yeah,
my fault in some way. I was wearing the wrong thing. I said the wrong thing. I was too friendly. I wasn't paying close enough attention, whatever, right? When, of course, that's not true, but you can't help but feel that. So
mm-hmm.
it's so hard. It's a hard one. Plus, assault also has a huge spectrum of what happened to you. So you can't paint it with the same brush. Um,
Yeah, you can't have the same punishment for everything.
you can't.
But
And
I do think
and
that
the
deterrence is an
threshold is
element
hard.
of
Yeah.
a judicial system. But I do agree that whatever system we have right now seems to have prioritized only punishment, justice, and deterrence. And it's not even that good at deterrence because the screens are weird. The screens are, it's very hard to get a conviction in certain circumstances, very hard to get a conviction, very easy to get a plea deal. And then after that, there is absolutely no desire for reform. So
No.
people both sort of think that they think prison is terrible and think it's impossible to go to prison. This is not a good deterrence setup. Things are so confusing about the judicial system that it's it's not effective at getting the layman to not do things. It is very possible to get imprisoned, as we know, but I agree with a lot of what you said. Just curious if you could elaborate more on your belief of someone who has killed one person being reformable versus someone killing multiple. I'm interested in that, Mom.
Okay, so I think you don't know how you're going to feel about killing somebody if you haven't killed somebody. I haven't killed anybody, so I think sometimes people,
It's a good disclaimer.
yeah, um, there's a lot of reasons why you might kill somebody. That might just be one-off reasons. You know, they were you caught them cheating with your wife. They were touching your child inappropriately. They attacked you first, and you just happened to get the upper hand. I
These
mean,
are all
there's
great
so many
reasons.
there's so many things. But you know, there's so many things. But also, even if you did go into it in a more willful way, in a I'm going to go kill somebody because I want to kill somebody, you might do that, and suddenly afterwards realize, oh my god, that was terrible. I shouldn't have done that. I could not see beforehand, because I'm an idiot, I guess, that this would be such a bad thing. And I will never do that again because it was not thrilling. It makes me feel terrible. And so that's why I think if you just did it once, even if you did it, let's say you robbed a store, right? You did it
Mhm.
in the commission of another felony. You robbed a store, you ended up killing the clerk. I don't think that means that you're going to kill another person. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to jail. You should go to jail. You should go to jail for quite a long time doing that. But I don't think that that means that you should lose your life as well, because I do
Yeah,
think
I agree
there's a
that person very well may be reformable, and
yeah.
there should be a way of figuring that out. I also think that the family of that shop clerk kind of deserves something, you know, that
Like
there's
they
like an
deserve
element
what?
to the social contract here. Can you take the thing off the bottom
Oh
of the
yeah.
screen too? I can't get it. Sorry, what was your question?
You said that you feel like the family of the shop clerk in this scenario would deserve something. I'm like, what do you mean by something? What kind of something would they deserve? Like
I think
compensation
that
or
they deserve, sure, they do, yeah, they probably deserve compensation, although
seems
it always feels weird.
it
But
does.
the I think that they deserve justice in a way. There's something about me and my family obeyed the social contract. This person broke the social contract, and we have been punished by, in the case of the shop clerk, the loss of my life, completely not my fault. And as a family, we've lost someone that we loved, right? So we've been punished because somebody else broke the social contract, and we've been observing it. We have not done things in observance of the social contract. And so what we need is justice. We need some amount of fairness where I'm just not a 100% reform person. What if, we could just fix that person tomorrow and be completely, absolutely convinced they wouldn't do it again? Yeah, I don't care. I do want them. I don't know. I don't know if life in prison is justifiable, um, but I think that they deserve some form of justice for that because the government paying to punish this person is like an apology from the government. Our system of rails, the government that we've created for the people, right, did not provide you with the thing that we promise, which is safety, security, prosperousness, the ability to live a long life. We tried very hard. We tried in earnest, in theory, um, and we failed to provide that to you. And so, what we're going to do now is we are going to pay for the punishment of this in order to deter other people from having this happen to them. And there's sort of a mutual payment. The government failed to protect your loved one or to protect you if you're the person that died, and that person failed to obey the social contract. So we're both going to bear a cost, and there's no cost to you. In order to write this, you can never fully write it, but write it with you to some extent. And I think that that is valuable, and it's valuable to preventing a chain reaction of bad things because you need to control the humans that were affected too. And the first example that I gave of this guy killed my brother, I'm going to kill him, is an example of the reason that other guy gets killed is that he wasn't getting punished. And people just cannot live with that. And you create a cascade chain reaction where then that guy is a brother, right? And these are gang wars, etc., where there's no expectation of the government stepping in and taking care of things on your behalf, and so people right these wrongs themselves, and it's never done very effectively. So I just do think that justice needs to be an element, and I do not think that you can get unless you indoctrinate them from a very young age. I do not think you can get an entire society on board with reform as the only element. And that was what I ended up arguing a lot about at the on this
Yeah,
section.
I don't think reform is the only element ever. I think punishment is always an element. You've done something wrong, you've broken the social contract. There is a price to be paid for that, you know? And it is that you don't have the freedom of movement anymore. That's the way we do it now, is you don't have the freedom of movement, right? We now control
Yep.
you. You've lost your privileges to walk around freely in the world, theoretically,
Yep.
unless you're Ghislaine Maxwell. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, no, punishment has to always be an element. I think for me, I just, it's interesting that you think that deterrence work or that deterrence need to be an element. Maybe they do. Maybe I just don't take deterrence seriously. Uh, you know, it is interesting to point out that a deterrent needs to be big enough to make you not do the thing. So I don't know. I'm like just slapping people with sticks whenever they do something naughty doesn't, there's a point where either you like getting slapped with a stick or it is working.
Yeah, or you grow accustomed to it. It's not
Yeah.
as scary. This is the problem of prison, you know, releases and people reentering, is that you're doing such a bad job of reforming that people don't know how to reintegrate with society. And then those people are not afraid of prison anymore because they've grown accustomed to it. And we're not saying that prison's just a big cushy place and we need to make it harsher, which seems to be one side's evaluation of it is, oh, prison's clearly not bad enough that people are willing to go back. It's just that people are good at adapting to terrible things. And so, and they're terrible at adapting to new situations, and you haven't done any of your job of reforming them. If there is any hope of somebody being released back, then you need to heavily prioritize reform and education programs and some sort of pathway back into everyday life. Because another problem of the punishments is you go to prison and then you come out and you're still being punished after you've
Mhm.
done your time. It's hard to
Mhm.
get a job. There's no protections for this type of thing. That's rough. That's like that is and it's not something that's factored into the decision. So if somebody's getting 25 years with the possibility of parole at 20, then you better protect that person from more trauma. You better make that person feel safe in their restricted state. Um, like they understand the punishment, they understand the philosophy behind it, but rape in prison, that's not good.
It's
that
not good.
that makes bad people, right? What is like the classic story of like whenever you watch like a serial killer documentary? They were molested as a child, right? These things, trauma,
Not
people
always.
don't, not always, but trauma is not helpful in reformation. And so you do need to sort of protect these people, even though you feel like you don't want to. Another part of the social contract is us protecting future victims. And so if we're going to release people back, then we need to release good people back. So I'm open to both sides.
That's an
Um,
interesting. That's an interesting thought process. Yeah, because I think okay, I had a cousin who, while he was in college, I think his roommate wanted to go out and party, and he was busy. He was like, "No, I've got work to do. I don't want to." And the his roommate got so mad that he shot him in the face. And the result of that was that when this kid went to prison, um, suddenly his education somehow was paid for while he was in college, and the family of my cousin that got shot were really mad. They're like, why is he getting anything? Why, why why are we helping him? Why is he getting this level of reform when people who did nothing wrong have to pay all of this money for their education? And it was like, I mean, it's a fair point, right? But simultaneously, we do need to be able to integrate them into society. So it is definitely a real balancing act. It's just like, like people kind of got irritated with Kamala Harris when she was talking about trans people in prison, that we're gonna let them, have, I don't know, their surgeries and stuff. When it's like people
yeah,
on the
whatever. Yeah,
outside can't
hormones.
have that. For why in the world would that happen in prison? It just felt out of touch with reality.
Yeah, this is another sort of weird like point of confusion, and it feels like there's got to be a way to market it, which is, yeah, it's free, but they also can't make money. So, like these people are getting paid 10 cents an hour. Uh, this is that they have no method of financial enrichment. Uh, so they have no way of paying for things. Now, if you're open to people working for compensation in prison for real compensation with protections and all of that, then we might ask for them to pay for more stuff. There's some like I think it was Norwegian models of like prison societies in which there's like a self-sustaining internal ecosystem that can contract with the outside world for education, and they have like they've basically got like small cities, like villages, where there's leaders that will determine initiatives, and you're like, it's like, Jesus, just release these people. They've created an economy.
They've got their own society going in here.
Yeah, they've got a walled-in society that has like imports and exports, and they're doing accounting. You're like, good Lord, what? Why are the Norwegian prisoners so good? This is incredible. Yeah, I think it's all complicated. It's all complicated,
It's
and
complicated.
the feeling that your cousin's family has is justified, right? It was totally. I mean, the situation was totally fine. Did the cousin live? How do I not
Yeah.
know this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Now they're all Republicans now.
Good. Well, so that's another one of the effects is that if you don't adequately punish people, then their families become Republicans. Because Republicans are like, yeah, you should have shot him. Which the last point I'll say on this, because I do want to get to the last question, is I do want in criminal proceedings for there to be an element of like, you shouldn't have done it, and we're going to punish you, but we get it. Like, there's a metric for that,
What do you
right?
mean? But we get it. But we get why you committed the crime.
Yeah.
I
Oh, you
mean,
shoplifted and you're rich. We don't get that, dude. Pay for your fucking soda, right? Oh, you shoplifted and you have serious food insecurity. You shouldn't have done that, but we get it, right? Oh, you murdered someone in cold blood because they looked at you the wrong way on the sidewalk. We don't get that, man. I don't get that at all. You murdered someone because they sexually assaulted your sister. Shouldn't have done that, but we get it. And I think those punishments need to be different. I think, I think
I do
those
too.
punishments are like,
I think mandatory sentences are a problem, but at the same time, you get the bad side of that as well, right? Like, oh, rape is bad, but also you've got such a good life, you've got such a good trajectory that you were
oh
on,
yeah,
college
no.
student boy.
The truth is that we sort of already have, but we get it. And I don't like how it's applied because it's applied by judges.
Exactly. It's applied
And
by judges.
judges have all their biases, and then so much of your punishment has to do with like which judge you drew. It's like, okay, that I don't like that. I don't like that. But I sort of want the jury to say, but I get it, because everyone gets that person sexually assaulted your sister. You went and beat him up. You shouldn't have done that. I get it. Everyone, every society, every corner of life, everyone goes, yeah. You shouldn't have done that, but we get it. And some of us are like, you should have done that. Who knows who's who? But
It's oh my gosh, what was I going to say? Oh, it's funny that we're talking about like what we think juries should do and stuff. Right now, you've got the attorney, federal attorney for Washington D.C., Janine Pirro. She's over there trying to prosecute the guy for chucking a sandwich at
oh yeah,
at
he's
the
out, right?
police. And the jury, the grand jury said, "Nah, that's nothing."
That's good. I
So
like that.
So that's been happening. And I guess she tried like 3 times, and 3 times the grand jury is like, no. So I see what you mean about how maybe having the jury have a little bit more power, because they'll ask for sentencing recommendations a lot of times from juries, but they're just recommendations. So
Yeah.
it might be interesting if they meant a little bit more.
Yep.
Interesting.
Okay, last question. We might want to blaze through it. But it's not an easy question to blaze through. So let's see.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
And we haven't worded it perfectly, but hopefully you can get the essence of the question. Under what situation is a country going to war justifiable? Like, what is your margin situation?
God, that's such a hard question for me. I mean, as somebody
Yeah.
who served in the military, my dad served in Vietnam, like that stuff, it means something. It does, and now having children that are the age where they could potentially be drafted. And that scares me way worse than it did, when I was
Not
in.
me. Not me. I'm old now.
Doesn't scare you? Oh, well, it scares
No,
me.
I'm not.
It scares.
I can't be drafted
Why not?
unless they increase the draft age. It's 27, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. Seems like when it's draft time, they'll snatch a. It depends on how long we draft for. But
Yeah,
eventually, they'll
yeah,
be like,
they'll change the vibe. But right now it says 18 through 27. I do
oh,
remember when I had to register for the draft, you and Dad being like, they're never going to do a draft again. They learned from Vietnam. A draft is never happening again. And then Trump got elected, and we were like, a draft might happen again. Like that's real.
well, it's so weird because when Biden was president, all the Republicans were afraid that they were going to get drafted. It's like, why are we talking about a draft? I don't even understand where this is coming from. But who knows what information this is being chucked at them?
They thought weak
Uh,
president meant we were going to get attacked. They thought China was
oh,
attacking. You know.
I mean that man took the soldiers seriously. He did everything he could to keep soldiers off of the battlefield for good or for bad. But yeah, what so what's a good reason to go to war? Obviously, if somebody attacks you directly, that seems like a good reason. Like it's the war's come to you. What choice do you have? It's here now. Um, but in terms
Like
of
October 7th.
October 7th, yeah, oh, yeah, unfortunately.
Oh,
But
welcome to APAC,
that
Mom.
wasn't a whole nation attacking. That was a terrorist organization. So that's where it gets tricky, right? Because these days we operate with terrorist
The,
organizations.
the government of Gaza.
I mean, do they have their own independent government from Israel? I mean, it's such a hot mess over there. But
I'm certainly independent from Israel, but it's independent from Israel in the same way that the U.S. government is independent from China. There's certainly some Chinese influence, but it's still its own government.
okay. I mean, they don't even have free. Well, it doesn't matter. They're fully occupied at this point. They have no
They don't
freedom of
they don't have
movement.
free they don't have free elections. They don't have
No, yeah, they don't have any control of what's
no
going on.
because Hamas ended them.
Because what?
Hamas ended their elections.
Yeah, no, it's bad. Exactly. They were. So listen, Hamas is bad. I don't know any other way to say it. Hamas is bad. They were using the people of Palestine for their own grossness. They put the people
Yep,
of Palestine in the middle. Israel was happy to have the people of Palestine be in the middle because they hate the
also true.
Palestinians. So it was win-win
Government
for
effects.
Israel. So uh, but
You know
it's
who
lose
didn't hate
lose.
the Palestinians? The people in the surrounding area of Gaza. I think that was the worst part. Well, there was a lot of really bad parts, but
It's a lot of parts.
the the fact that these regions were like humanitarian, pro-Palestinian Israelis that were considered politically radical within Israel and had like rallies for like I mean the great irony of the music festival being a music festival for peace and that many of these kibbutzes were aid workers that would go into Gaza and work in Gaza because they were against what Israel was doing with the state of Gaza, and then those were the people that were attacked. That was the great like, oh, this is about to be so bad, because you've turned those people against you. That's like that's rough. But anyway, why do you go to war? If you get attacked, yeah, I think that's reasonable. But if we get attacked in a terrorist attack, should we then go and invade a country that had nothing to do with it?
No.
Ah, damn it, Bush is off the list. I thought we were all aligned with Bush and Cheney.
No, we should. It's really hard with terrorist organizations, right? Because they hide in the shadows. Sometimes they are aided by actual governments. Very often,
Yeah.
it seems like, and so it
Sometimes our allies.
sometimes exactly, and it does get murky. But yeah, you don't want the civilian population of places to be destroyed, and you don't want to put your soldiers in harm's way if there's another way to do it. Um, it's really hard. I don't like war. It doesn't feel like anybody really wins at the end of a war. You've declared somebody the victor, but so
I think
many so
people
many
used to win wars. I think it ended.
maybe I don't know. I don't like them. It's really hard, because you see injustices all over the world, and you're like, oh, I sure wish somebody would stop that, but it sure ain't going to be me. You know,
Yeah.
you guys got to work out your own beefs. Uh, and I feel terrible saying that because you see people starving, you see children maimed. I don't know what to do. I don't know that, and I don't know how war helps it. I feel like everything should be pinpoint precision stuff going on. Everything should be covert. Everybody should be getting poisoned by, handshakes and
Yeah, yeah. Or like
laser
the
laser guided drones, everything.
have you seen that thing about the drone that has basically like it's not a drone, sorry. It's a missile, but it's instead of having an explosive in the missile, it's going through like this, and then and it's got like katana blades that pop out of it. This is real.
No,
This is like a
I have
Lockheed
not
Martin
seen
thing,
this.
and it's been used on like Iranian. One of the attacks on the Iranians was us using this, which is it is an ultra targeted missile in that you can kill one person in a car. And
Well,
the
I did know
story
that. I just
was,
didn't know it was katana blades. I did know. I did
yeah,
hear about that. Yeah.
it pops out like this, and then it goes through the car, and there's no explosion. It's just, and then the person is dust. They are just because it's like
Eviscerated.
going Mach 2 and then through your whole body. That is disturbing. I wonder what the end looks like for that. Do you think American people would just sit back if Canada was invaded? I don't think we should.
I don't think we would. Will be honest. I don't think that we would. I think that we would actually have Canada's back. I think he would have had an easier time having Canada's back without Trump. But Trump, if you can convince him that this is going to make him look good, he'll be all for it. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
he might say, "Oh,
Agreed.
you ready to become the 51st state?" Of course, which you would never do because it's dumb. But as long as he feels like there's something for him to gain or win from it, I think he would be down to do it. I think the American people would be down to aid Canada. But who would invade Canada other than us? Maybe Russia.
Maybe Russia. Yeah, yeah. What? Why would
Oh, wait,
Canada
wait.
become
Different
one
question. Oh,
state?
I misunderstood the question. I meant the U.S. invading Canada. Oh, wait.
Uh,
Uh,
yeah, I don't know what Americans would do if Trump sent us to invade America. I imagine there would be a great deal of military members that had a problem with that.
yeah, I don't think you would get the military to invade Canada because there's no reason to invade Canada.
Yeah.
So,
Greenland might be a different story. I don't know.
no, it isn't.
No, but no one knows anything about Greenland. So you could create some bullshit about about Greenland, whereas everyone knows Canada. Why
Everyone
would
knows Canada.
Canada be one state? That's my only. Oh, it'll be the 51st state. It's like it's already got
Exactly.
states, and
It's
they're big.
humongous. Yeah, they're huge. They're more than one state. And here's the part that I think that Trump misses the most, right? Is they have a lot of social services there that we don't have. So it's not just that you've gained land and resources. You also now have a responsibility to the Canadian people who are used to
Yeah,
being treated a certain way. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I'm just the idea of it being one state. This is like so inside baseball, like I am involved in state government type stuff. But the idea that you could run a single state Department of Transportation that handles both Toronto and Manitoba is insane to me. That is like
how
it's
many
so big.
how many seats in the House of Representatives would the state of Canada get?
Probably similar to California, probably less than California. I would guess it's like 35.
You think that there's more people in California than in Canada?
Isn't Canada like 40 million?
I don't know. Let's look it up.
Let's look it up. Are you looking at Canada population?
Sure, I'll look up Canada.
I'm looking up.
Oh,
California is 40 million.
Canada. Boop. 41. Oh, it is really close. 41.
All right. So when I said I think about the same number as California, I was right on.
Wow.
Did you
Yeah,
know that
that's quite the voting
Canada
block.
and Australia are not even in the top 10 countries with the most English speakers?
They're not even in the top 10?
No. You know who's
That is
above
weird.
them? Indonesia
Hmm,
and India. India's not that surprising, but
that's
and
interesting.
Germany. Germany's above them too.
How is Germany above them? Are you saying does not? I guess not
They
everybody
have
in Canada speaks English, or
no.
there's
I
more
mean,
than
almost
41.
everyone in Canada. There's more than 41 million people in Germany that speak English.
I didn't even realize Germany had that many people. I know,
Oh, it's
yeah,
got over
Canada.
100 million.
Canada's mostly empty wilderness. I mean, it is, but it's also massive. So,
No, yeah, it's big. Um, yeah, no, I mean, I think that my edge case was really, I think that um, that if deterrence is important in criminal acts, deterrence is especially important for wartime. And so I think that my threshold is quite a bit lower than I think an average citizen. Um,
in terms of you're
and
willing to
I
go to
think that
war at a lower threshold,
for deterrence, yes,
okay.
for you set hard lines and you if they are crossed, you make good on those promises. Um,
I,
and strong alliances are very important. So I would
I agree.
absolutely want America to go to war if any NATO country was invaded by Russia. I mean, it would be and and you need that stance. You need the strength in that stance in order to uphold deterrence. As soon as
I
people think that you wouldn't actually do it, that's when shit starts hitting the fan.
No, you're right. When you say there's a hard red line, it's gotta mean something. Otherwise, you're a taco. But um, I also think maybe part of my problem is what's the definition of war? You know, when I think of war, I think of boots on the ground, and I think I would like to avoid boots on the ground as much as possible. So, but we have so much other technology that it's hard to argue that you're not fighting a war when you're dropping bombs from the sky, even though there's no boots on the ground. I mean, that's clearly war. So maybe that's where I struggle is in the definition of war, just because I just don't like putting our soldiers in harm's way if there's another way.
Yeah. Want to play time guessing?
Yeah, let's play time guesser.
And then I got to walk home and relieve Ellie of her radar duties. All right,
Do,
pulling
do,
it up now. I tried to do it by myself the other day,
uh-huh.
and I was like, I think it's the show that really is when I do well because you catch me when I'm wrong, and
Well,
you're really good with years.
I'm good with ears. Oh, ears. Yeah, I think I can look at clothes and shoes and
Is that the
hairdos.
Philippine flag? Is that the Philippines?
You're asking the wrong person. You need your brother for that. That he would know.
I
Uh,
think that's the
I mean,
Philippines.
Philippines is a good guess.
Or um, Thailand? No, Thailand doesn't look like that. No.
I don't know. Should I
Uh,
Google it? I feel like I'm cheating.
well, yeah, this is clearly a plane crash. It's in black and white.
All right, we've got a
Uh,
specific shape to these helmets that make it, you know, I would say after the 40s.
after the
uh,
40s.
um, what if this is Korea?
Indonesia.
Indonesia?
Oh, you think that's Korea? Oh, it could
Well, I
be.
don't
I
know. So
mean, the thing is,
this is a civilian plane. This isn't like a military plane. This looks like a rescue operation for a plane.
yeah, it's a civilian plane, and it's so this could easily not be in the country of origin. Uh, and then like this hat is just making me think like Indonesia, Malaysia, Laos,
Yeah.
um, Thailand.
I'm gonna go with
Uh,
I'm gonna go with the 50s
okay, I'm gonna say
just
early
because of
50s
that
then.
guy you just zoomed in on. I'm like that guy's from the 50s.
That's 50. I'm gonna say 1954, and we're
Okay.
definitely saying somewhere over here.
Oh,
Uh,
Cambodia. Oh, yeah, I don't know.
oh, it could be Cambodia. Yeah,
Without me
let's
sitting and
take.
googling different flags, which I'm not going to do. I checked the chat to see if anybody had any guesses, but
I don't think that's the Cambodian flag, but I could be wrong. It's definitely. I wish I remember what the Malaysian flag looked like. Um,
But you wanted to say Philippines with your gut for some reason.
yeah,
And it looks like we're probably on a hillside or a mountainside. Um, so
makes
somewhere
some sense.
mountainy, which probably all of that has some level of mountains.
You know how many people live in Malaysia?
Is it a lot?
It's so many. It's almost a billion. It's or no, that's not true.
Holy
It's
moly.
it's more than America.
That's the one where they're just all jammed together. Everybody's
They're
just
so
living on
no,
top of each
Malaysia's
other.
big as hell, dude. Malaysia is
Oh,
so big that this doesn't do it justice because it's on the equator, right? So it's
oh.
just it doesn't seem as big as it is, but Malaysia pretty solid. Um, Cambodia, Philippines.
You want to go?
Does
I
it
don't know.
seem like an island? I don't know. I think it seems a little bit more inside. I think.
Well, it's
I mean,
it's
I'm going to say
clearly
Cambodia.
tropical enough, but I feel like almost all of that would be.
Yeah,
I would
you're
say
right. Malaysia. Let's say it's near Brunei.
okay,
Yeah, let's say it's up here. 1954.
okay.
Make guess.
70. Oh, dang, we were off by a whole bunch. That's our worst guess ever.
Taiwan.
Oh,
Oh, it was
we were going to get that
Taiwan.
right. We were going to get that right.
1970. Wow.
Wow,
Rescuers
we were
inspected
so
the wreckage of
far.
China Airlines Flight 206 after it crashed on a hillside in Taipei, Taiwan, during its final approach to the nearby Songshan Airport during poor weather.
So was that
Oh,
a Chinese? That didn't look like a Chinese flag.
this it's certainly not a Chinese flag.
So was it a
Uh,
Taiwanese flag?
yeah, I think it must be. I should have said that. I should have known.
Oh,
I should have known the
okay.
Taiwanese flag.
We got a
Uh,
colored picture. That
this
is very
is this
small.
is like this is Chinatown, right? Yeah.
I don't know. It's so small. The picture's so small.
And
I must make screen bigger. Why did they give us such a small box?
yeah, it's always the aspect ratio of the. Let me see if I can zoom in
I
on
do
here.
think that's China, though.
You think this is China?
Oh, you think it's Chinatown in what, New York? Or I guess that could be a
Yeah,
subway.
like this says
Oh,
sharp
until I was
investment
too
San
busy.
Francisco.
San Francisco. Okay.
Okay,
Is there a
Chinatown, San
Chinatown in
Francisco.
San
Got it.
Francisco?
Yeah, yes, there is. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it looks like I'm looking at her hairdos. We're in the 90s, I think. Boots, hair.
I mean, there really are like no white people though that we can tell. I guess.
Could be the late 80s also.
Yeah,
1989.
this rings 90s to me, but then everything else rings 80s. 89, I think it makes sense. Okay, we're gonna say 1989, San Francisco, Chinatown.
Sure.
All right, now just give me a second to figure out where Chinatown is,
Why don't you know where
because
Chinatown is? Oh, well, that says Target. That
I,
doesn't help us.
I know where it is here. If this was New York, I'd zoom right in. Uh, I mean, Chinatown is usually near downtown.
It's the financial
I guess
district,
it's
the East something.
Chinatown,
Ogdenville. Oh, you found it.
and we're saying 1989.
Yeah.
Boom! I
Oh,
was one block off and 1 year
and
off. Wow, that
one
was a
year
good one.
off.
Wow,
We crushed
1990.
that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Not
Plain
okay.
mountains, Utah.
This looks
Oh,
very
Nepal.
well. They're holding Nepalese flag. That's not Nepalese flags. Their flags are pointy. They're triangles.
Oh, you're right. I think. Wait, what? This is definitely a flag in that region. Uh, is it not Azerbaijan?
I'm sorry. I feel like we're in Oregon or Utah. Uh,
There's no shot.
I don't know what these
That looks like
flags
a
are for.
European license plate. We're not in America.
Oh,
We're
oh, you're
definitely
right.
not
Look
in
at that
America.
little tiny truck. Okay, thank you. You gave us something to work with now. Thank you. But what is this flag? Okay, do these people look like they're all Asian, or do we have some white people mixed in here? Are there any blondes? Everybody's got hats on.
I mean, it's cold because we're in Nepal. Um,
That's not what Nepal's flag looks like.
no, it does look like some white people, but it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, this is a nice photo. This has got to be relatively modern.
Yeah, this is like, 2014 or sooner.
And this
Or
building design also sort of strikes me as, yeah,
it's
as
very
after
now.
2015. It's very now. It's very modular.
Oh, wait, can
I
you?
like it. And it's definitely the flag of the region. I mean,
Yeah,
it's on that.
it's everywhere.
Um,
What's going on?
is it
Why are all these
Bhutan
flags?
or Bangladesh?
I don't know. I don't think it's Bangladesh.
Bhutan, then.
I've never even heard of Bhutan. Dorothy's
Well,
guessing Greenland.
oh my gosh.
Is it Greenland?
Are you right? Oh my gosh. Are you right? It is.
I
It's
mean, that
Greenland.
matches the shapes of the buildings more. Greenland does make more sense to me.
Oh, it does feel like Greenland, doesn't it? Oh my God. What's the big place? Is it Nook?
I don't
I mean,
know.
it's got
I
a
just
plane, so it's like it's kind of got to be Nook.
okay. I mean, it looks like too small of a place, but also
Wait, you
maybe
think Nook looks too small, or like this looks
yeah.
too small?
Nook,
Oh,
but
I
but
mean, yeah, but
also
there's nothing bigger than Nook in Greenland, is there?
I don't know. I know nothing about Greenland. Maybe it's
I thought
Nook.
Nook was
Let's
the
go with Nook.
biggest. I don't remember what Iceland's flag looks like. Wow. Oh my gosh. If
Oh,
this is Greenland,
Dorothy's
I'm
from
gonna feel
Denmark,
like
so
something
she's
is.
pretty sure that this is Greenland. Okay.
Okay. Well, I was just so wrong about that flag. That's crazy. And then you said it
Yeah,
was
I
pointy, and
mean,
I was like,
I
that
kept
does sound
telling you,
right.
it's like that is not what Nepal looks like.
Man, and I've got a friend from Nepal and everything. Okay, we're gonna say like 2020,
Okay.
2019.
Well, are people wearing masks?
Yeah, 2019. 2025. But it was Nook.
Yep. I'm like, this picture looks like right now. Sweet.
Yeah.
Thank
Sweet.
you, Dorothy.
Not more flags. This is
What in the
Africa.
world? What is this? Is this a circus? It's a castle? Oh, what's that guy? Well, that's an interesting hat shape.
Directing traffic. Um,
Are we in
is
New
this
Zealand?
Togo? No.
Togo. That's
You think we're in New Zealand?
no, I don't know. Somewhere weird. I don't know. Togo. I like
I mean,
Togo.
this is guaranteed Africa. Um, uh,
What's that
although
say?
I thought the last one was Nepal.
Avenue
So,
W Ponte. So it's a French part of Africa. Place.
oh, French part of Africa. Yeah, yeah, we're in West Africa. I mean, Togo is looking pretty good. Uh, could be Ghana. Ivory Coast.
About Liberia. Or is that not French? I don't know.
I don't know
Cote
if Liberia
d'Ivoire.
is French
What did I say?
because
Abidjan.
this is that Nigeria is where it goes from British to French. I think. Could it
Okay.
be Burkina Faso?
I don't know.
Could we
Maybe we
be
should look
in
at the picture.
Ouagadougou? Maybe we should look at the picture. Okay, I think it's just an Ouagadougou, but that's fine.
Okay. Okay. Look at these vehicles. These are like 50s
But
vehicles.
these, yeah, white walls. But these vehicles, but also keep in mind that some African countries get vehicles like it's sort of like Cuba.
Later. Very
They
true.
get stuff later.
This could be later. Everybody's well, that's not ethnic dress. Everybody else was an ethnic dress.
So yeah, yeah, everyone else is. This looks very similar to what I was told to wear for the wedding.
There was one lady
Uh,
that had her arms out in a regular Western dress. Let's look at her shoes.
that appears to be a white lady. She's got some nice heels.
Okay. Hmm.
It's not a ton to go off of. I mean, I guess they gave us a flag, so we can't do that. We can't be that mad about it.
All right. So,
I think it's Ouagadougou.
okay. So, do we want the vehicles are from the
Uh,
50s, but do we think this is maybe more like the 70s?
let's split the difference. Say 64, 65.
I feel like it's later.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, let's go in there
70.
somewhere.
Let's do flat 70.
Okay.
In Ouagadougou. Oh,
Oh, you were.
Senegal.
Oh, man, we messed that up.
62. Damn.
I mean, I guess we were in West Africa.
Yeah, it's just Africa's
Not
so
West
big that
enough.
it's hard to get.
Not West
Yeah, I mean,
enough.
Africa is just enormous.
Oh, black and white.
Wow,
Okay. Ooh,
this is a fun one.
this
Okay.
is like real old.
These Canadians? No. Oh, wait.
Polski,
Polskish?
Borden,
Yeah.
Nukin.
Okay. Poland.
Wait, I don't know if it's Poland.
You don't think so?
Oh, I don't know.
Isn't this the
I didn't
Polish
think-
flag here?
Oh, yeah, it might be. Okay, so let's go with Poland. Look at these little fun guys. Or maybe
These
not
gotta
fun
be-
guys.
These got to be like 20s,
There's-
right?
I don't know, man. They look like scouts. But hopefully they're not like. Can we look at the arm on the scoutmaster there? Go over that yeah, that
This
one.
one?
No, the next one. That one. What we got? All right. I just am like, are these like SS officers that they're being forced to train small children into becoming little tiny Nazis?
No.
No.
Maybe.
I'm just saying.
Oh.
Uh-oh. 1938.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we're always just going to do the biggest place. So I'm going to say Warsaw. Warsaw. And then 38.
Sure. We're just making a guess.
26.
26.
Oh, and it was in
Oh.
Krakow. Polish Scouts.
Scouts posed with the 4T car in Krakow, Poland during an automobile expedition. You know what? I had looked at the car and I thought, oh man, that's a Ford, Model T, like it was a spoked wheel one. And then I just let it zip right out of my brain because I got distracted by the Scouts.
Yeah.
We did terrible today compared.
Yeah, it was not our
to,
best round. That's okay.
But yeah, too
That's
confident.
okay. Well, yeah, and you get Africa and Taiwan and was there another hard one?
I mean, we were right with Poland. We were in the right country.
We're in the right country. We got Greenland thanks to Dorothy. Yeah. All right. Well, I've got to walk home.
Yep. And Trump will never get Greenland. I agree. He should never have Greenland. If you want my conspiracy theories about why he wants Greenland.
I think he thinks it'd be a great vacation destination.
I think that there's a bunch of rich people that have built a spaceship and it is in Greenland. And it's just for once they've ruined the planet, they're going to launch off into space, only the rich people, from Greenland.
Isn't that what we have Nevada for?
I don't know. I don't know. Do you think rich people hang out in the desert trying to make their perfect society full of elites?
I don't know.
I don't either. All right. Thank you guys for keeping us company as we discussed, some interesting political questions.
Yeah. We will see you next week. Come join if you can. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.